This episode of the Getting Chicked podcast is presented by Zappos. We love Zappos here at Getting Chicked because Zappos is an online retail destination for the best in footwear, offering the selection and expertise runners need to take on every day with confidence. Zappos carries an extensive assortment of performance running shoes and go-withs from leading brands including Hoka, Nike, Brooks, New Balance, Asics, On, and more, with thousands of options spanning categories including road, trail, and race day, from first-time joggers to marathon vets. Zappos has been a trusted destination for runners for over 25 years, and you're looking at 3 loyal Zappos customers right here on the Getting Chicked podcast. Make sure you check out the latest selection of footwear on Zappos.com or in the Zappos app. Follow at Zappos for new releases, community spotlights, and more. And now over to the show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Getting Chicked podcast. It is a reunion here because the trio is finally reunited. Megan, Karen, and Rachel. I have so much to talk to both of you about, but before we can do that, I want to remind all of our listeners to go onto our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe, leave comments, and then wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever it is that you listen, make sure you write us a review as well. But Karen, you've been a world traveler. Rachel, you are engaged. You still got the ring on?
I'm still engaged. I still have the ring on. Yeah, and we can talk about it in my Tales from the Trails, but I feel like I don't like working out in my ring at all.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yes.
Why not?
But doesn't it make you nervous to take it off?
Well, I have a little ring bowl, so it's like as long as I leave it in there, no. I feel like what would make me nervous is leaving it in like a random place and being like, oh my gosh, where did I put it? The reason I don't like it is because my hands swell when I work out or sweat. Does yours not?
No,
like your
mine
hands and your
do.
feet?
I
Oh,
feel
but
like
it
my
just
rings
doesn't bother you.
Well, my rings keep me in check with my hydration as well, because when I'm dehydrated, my hands are really swollen, and that's very uncomfortable. So when my rings start to get swollen, I'm like, oh, I need to drink more water.
Okay, maybe I'm just perpetually dehydrated. I'm going to take a sip of water right now, but
do you
that's
guys
why it
get
bothers
that?
me.
When you're dehydrated, your fingers swell?
I don't know about dehydrated. But like when I work out, my blood is pumping. I feel like I am prone to swell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, not for me, but I do have it on now. I have it on while podcast recording.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
so
God.
That does not make my hands swell.
Thank God. Can you imagine if you took it, you were like, look, I got to take it off for the podcast, girls. I'm so nervous while I'm talking and my hands just swell. That's what I would be concerned.
Yeah, you'd be like at 2 years in and you're still.
She's shaking in her boots. But
Yeah.
I do want to highlight, just for those listening today, we do have some receipts on tap. So maybe the blood will get pumping when you
Yeah,
tell
I might
it later.
get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, give us a preview though before we get there. Before we get to that, I'm just curious, what are we going to be hearing about later today?
Sure. So Karen, you actually sent a Runner's World article on this same topic, but there was a really cool article that came out on the Nature website. I'm not sure if it was in the Nature paper, which is one of the most like prestigious journals in science, but it was on their website, and I follow kind of running research, and the headline was like, men are twice as likely to positive split or to hit the wall in a marathon as women. And I was like, I've had it on my radar to read and talk about on the podcast for a while. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Runner's World also wrote a summary article. And it really reminded me of a couple months ago when I looked at kind of a different angle, but we looked at Boston Marathon negative splitting, and the elite women were much more likely than the elite men to negative split. So maybe the reverse.
Gosh.
This is kind of the reverse of that, the very positive split.
This is
but yeah,
so
we can
funny
dig
because
in.
I actually ran with a group of people, which is weird for me, but I worked out with a group of people on Friday, and I was the only female. Like, we were doing K repeats, and I was the only female in the group. And somebody in the group was like, if I had to put money on this, I bet Megan is going to take us out way too hard. And I was like, I looked right at him and I said, coming from the person who has never negative split a race in their life. And he was like, all right, touche, you got me. And then in the whole group, which was all men and me, everyone said they had never negative split. And I was like, I got all of you bitches. So.
Wait, that is crazy to have never negative split. That's like racing and it's always terrible. It's never been fun.
Well, you guys are doing this wrong.
How do they keep getting after it? Like never, not even in a 5K?
You know, we're all sickos in some way. And apparently, none of them had ever negative split. The one guy that I called out, he was like, I have done it once. And he's been running for a very long time. So, you know, but I definitely put him in his place. And I did not take us out too hard in the case, just for the record.
Of course not. Of course you didn't. You ran. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would trust Megan with my life on it. There are very few people I would trust in like a marathon. But I think that Megan, I would trust you to take me out in the first 5K.
Megan ran 6 flat pace for 26.2 miles. You were like with a standard deviation of like 4 seconds. Like you were right on the money. You're a metronome. If anyone ever says anything otherwise, bring up the receipts.
Yes, I know. But then I did the last K. I really was like, I'll show you. And I told everybody we did 6Ks. I ended up doing 7 because I got peer pressured into 1 for fun. But the last K, I was like, we were hot that last one, and I'm not going a step faster this one. But then the group took off, and I was like, I'm not getting beat by all of you. So then I put the hammer down too. And then we finished. They're all like, I thought you said you weren't going to do that. I was like, that's until I didn't want to lose.
You're like, yeah, but only if we all don't do it. That is like one of the weirdest part of track training with other people is like, you're like, if I were on my own, I truly would not go a step faster. And I mean that with my full chest. But if someone else is going faster, and usually it's Karen, just like balls to the wall on the last rep, I'm going with Karen on the last rep. Like, that's just going to happen.
It's like, don't tempt me with a good time. I'm going to do it.
Yes, don't tempt me with a good time.
I'm going to do it. Okay, so we'll get into that. I'm so excited, but I am curious, Rachel, where you're at right now with your injury journey. You sent us a super fun pic of all your swim gear that you recently got. Curious, your tales from the trails this week.
Yes. So my tales from the pool. I got so many amazing recommendations from our listeners for both like gear, but also just like approaches to swimming, which has been so helpful. So I ordered a bunch of gear, and I'll talk about that. But before I talk about my gear, I went to the pool and I was about to get in a lane, and then like the people at the lifeguards pointed like, oh, there's actually an open lane over there. And it was in the fast section of the pool, which I would never get in on my own. And I don't belong there. But I just want to say, they thought I belonged there probably because of how I looked. I was wearing, like, I was decked out. Like, I was in the equivalent of, like, a bandit. Well, actually, I was in the equivalent, because we always say on this podcast, the fastest runner you know is running in a 2012 state championships t-shirt. But I was in, like, the equivalent of, like, a bandit. Like a bandit suit, like set,
matching set. Yeah.
Did you go as far to be like in buns, like the equivalent of buns?
Well, so I was in like a one-piece swimsuit. So I don't know.
I know, but like what would the equivalent of buns be? Because when someone shows up with buns, you're like, oh, they mean business.
Yeah, you're kind of like, what? But if someone showed up to do a workout in buns, I would be like, that's really weird. Wouldn't you guys? I mean, I guess they're working on their tan lines. Like, no judgment.
It's true. Yeah.
Like, that would be interesting. I don't know. So for all the swimmers out there, I ordered a Jolene swimsuit, which is like apparently the it brand in swimming. And I loved it. They're so cute. I ordered like a pink one with orange straps. It looks really cute. Love it. And then I ordered a pole buoy, and it's something that goes between your legs because unfortunately I'm still having pain, which we'll get to, but I was like, if I put something in between my legs, I'm not kicking, and therefore like I don't have to worry that this is making anything worse. And then I ordered hand paddles. So you go with hand paddles and a pool buoy, and you do your swimming that way. And I saw like a bunch of other people in the fast section, you know, my peers in the fast section of the pool doing that.
Wait,
and
so
I
are
felt
you
so cool?
Are you all arms?
Oh, I'm all arms.
You're all arms, no legs.
This is a new development as of this week.
Whoa,
Because
Rachel, you're looking strong. You're
Oh,
gonna
my
get so
arms
buff.
are gonna be like unreal.
They're gonna be
They're
jacked.
gonna be like, you know, the people that just the triangle.
You're a full
The
Y.
triangle
You're
body
a
type.
full Y. You are gonna enter a strong woman competition.
Yeah,
Like,
my legs are gonna be like non-existent. My arms and shoulders are just gonna be ripped.
Yoked.
Honestly, I mean, it can't hurt. I feel like in running, you get a lot of power from your arms. So I'm like, that's what I'm
totally.
You're gonna be
hoping
cranking
for.
out pull-ups.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't really done pull-ups, but the other thing I've been doing is the assault bike. Do you guys know what that is?
Oh, is that
It's
the
Yes.
It's
arm
called
bike?
the assault bike.
It's the arm and leg bike with the
with the big
fan
fan?
thing.
Oh, that's
So
hard.
here's this is my new routine actually. I go in the pool, I try to go twice a week. I try to do the assault bike twice a week, and I lift 3 times a week. And I walk.
That's
It's an
great.
aggressive routine. I mean, I feel like I'm also doing nothing. I'm having all sorts of complicated feelings about this injury. But I have a routine, but I just feel like I'm not getting better. Okay, we'll get into that. But
Not getting better at what? The routine, or like you think your fitness
the
is
pubic bone. Neither.
Oh,
Like my
okay.
pubic bone is not getting better.
Got it. Okay.
Which is extremely frustrating. But before we get into that, one thing that I thought was really funny, I was like kind of laughing out loud reading our emails and our messages, is the debate between a silicone swim cap and a latex swim cap. And like we had listeners send like, make sure you get a latex swim cap. And then the next email I would read, it would be like, get a silicone swim cap so people don't think you're a weirdo with a latex swim cap. And then it'd be like, latex all the way, silicone all the way. And I spent my whole 35-minute swim yesterday trying to think if there's an equivalent in running. Where like you would look at someone, like I feel like the way I was interpreting this is like people, not seriously. I actually think swimmers are, based on like my vibe of the pool, I think swimmers are a very welcoming bunch. But I feel like I got the vibe where it's like, if I see someone with a latex swim cap, like I don't think they're legit. And then vice versa. And these were coming from like post-collegiate swimmers. So like people who had swam presumably their whole life at a really high level. Can you think of an equivalent in running?
I mean, just off the top of my head, I feel like Apple Watch versus like Coros or Garmin. Like
Yeah.
Coros
Wait, that's
or
a
Garmin
good one.
to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coros or Garmin to me is like your real run. I accept all runners. I don't want like, but
Yeah.
and then people who are doing the Apple Watch, it's just a different level. You're still a real runner. Like I don't want to run shame anybody. I don't want to gatekeep this sport, but I think it's a different level of legitimacy.
Totally. I don't think you're gatekeeping. I think it is generally true. Like all the you don't see a single professional runner with a Apple Watch.
Apple Watch, yeah.
During a race.
No.
That's just
No,
true.
you don't.
It's like, I feel like, you know that meme with the brains that get like increasingly crazier? You know,
Yes.
do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly
I feel
what you're
like
talking about, yeah.
it's like Apple Watch, Garmin or Coros, and then like Timex. Like
Yes.
you've just like
The one thing that I thought of was like music or no music. Of like during
I
a
did think of
marathon
that one.
specifically. Of
Yeah,
like,
during a race.
You gotta run it on the vibes. And then other people are like, if you don't have music, what are you doing? I feel like people have very strong opinions on music or not. But if we're going with like fabric or not fabric or like technology, I would say it's race shoe. Some people are like, you gotta do, if you're not running in the Saucony endorphin, what are you doing? And then some people are like, you didn't see the new Adidas, blah, blah, blah come out. I feel like people have strong opinions on their race shoes. And that to me is like a tool or something that you use that will directly affect your run.
Another thing I would say is like people using like the chomps versus the gel.
Like different types
Okay,
of
so you would
fueling.
say like a gel is more quote unquote legit.
Yeah, than like the chomps.
Oh yeah,
What
I
are
would say that's
chomps?
probably
I don't even
like
know what
the-
that
They're
is.
basically like fruit snacks.
like remember
Oh,
Karen how we used like the Scratch Labs fruit snack things we used to have.
yes.
I mean they're
Those-
good. No
They're
hate.
really
are
good.
good.
I'd like to eat them.
But I have a strong opinion, but I do not like to chew during a marathon. It's not my thing. And so I guess I'd fall into that category. I'd be like, yeah, gel. No chomping here.
The other thing I thought that I don't know which way is like right, but I feel like people feel kind of strongly about whether if you're running a track 5K or 10K, are you wearing spikes or are you wearing super shoes? Because most of the elite runners like I was watching USA's, they're all wearing spikes. But then when you go to like the sub-elite and recreational runners, I would say it's fairly split. So that's something that I find super interesting.
Are they wearing spikes in the 10K too? Do you know?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
You had a teammate run it. Did she wear spikes? 2 teammates.
2 teammates ran the 10K. I think they both ran spikes, yeah. I also think potentially you have to be because there's like the stack height rule with like USATF.
I can't never run
races.
USA's because I never
And-
plan to wear spikes again.
And I don't think you can even get any like World Athletics points potentially. And I don't know. This is a Chris question, really,
Right.
but I do think that could be why. I also think super shoes get a lot of love, but I do think spikes are still the best thing to run fast on the track.
I agree with you, but my calves are screaming
Yeah.
at me right now by just thinking about it.
Right. We live in the at what cost category of like of running where like we're not trying to get injured. Like I'd
No.
rather run a little bit slower.
The last workout I did on the track before I sprained my foot was in the Dragonflies. Was in the Nike Dragonflies. So I think it's like how people run barefoot and they're like, it's the best thing ever for your feet. I'm like, yeah, if you do it a lot and you grew up only doing that and your feet are very acclimated to that. I think it's similar with the spikes. Like for me personally, I think it was a mistake to start working out in spikes because I haven't worn spikes in over 10 years. And I just think my feet weren't strong enough to do it. But I digress. I'm over it. I'm over my injury, guys. No, I won't like keep talking about it and stuff. But I'm just kidding.
Speaking of injuries, Rachel, give us the bad news.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been putting a lot of like time and effort and money into my healing process, which is very worth it. I couldn't do this any other way. I feel like I want to get back to running so badly and I want to not re-injure myself. But I just feel like I'm still in pain, like kind of all the time. I can feel it. And I feel like all of my healthcare professionals are super like great, but they're kind of like, oh yeah, that is weird. Like we wouldn't expect that. And I'm like, yeah. So like, what do we do? And it's just like, there's not really a clear path for me forward. Like, I guess I'll just keep waiting, but also, sorry, I really feel like I can't, like I don't want to stop doing anything because I tried that and it helped, I guess, but it didn't heal me completely. And I also feel like mentally I need to do something. But I don't know if I have said this. I think I did say this on the podcast. I mean, all of my like labs are pretty normal. Like I have normal bone density, I have a normal ferritin, I have a normal vitamin D. So those are like the big things that would impact your healing, I guess, according to like my doctors. And so I should really be healing, but I still feel in pain. And yeah, I just feel like it clouds like everything now, where I'm like, I just feel like sad about it a lot and like I feel like I'm kind of a broken record a little bit about my injury because it's like all I can think about, which is just like I feel like it's not the way I want to be in life, you know? I feel like this is getting really depressing. So people can fast forward through this if they want the fun stuff. But yeah, I just feel like it's been really hard, especially the last like couple weeks, because I knew for the first like 8 weeks I wouldn't be able to do anything, and I had like accepted that and mourned that and like moved on, and I'm like, I'm just gonna be patient, like I can do that. But now I'm at the stage where I really should feel better and I don't. And I think that's really hard because it's like, well, I don't know when I'm going to feel better because I thought I was going to feel better now. Yeah. So I guess that's mostly my update.
You shared with us on our group chat this week something about the shockwave treatment that you've been doing. Do you think that could have an impact?
So actually, yes. I have been doing shockwave, which is supposed to be helpful it's proven to be helpful for soft tissue, and like doctors think it's helpful for bone stress injuries, and I'm actually part of a clinical trial about bone stress injuries and shockwave, and so I've been able to get shockwave through that. And it is I had a particularly painful like treatment. Granted, I also don't know that I'm in the test group, but I think I am. So I could be getting placebo shockwave, in which case, like, who the heck knows? But, they basically put waves or whatever, I don't know, shockwaves into the part of your bone that hurts. And that's supposed
How
to
are they
like
doing that? You gotta get, like,
Karen.
Yeah. Okay.
They're in there. And like
They are.
I mean, not literally in there. I just
they're
mean,
close.
like, yeah, they're
Look,
right,
you're
yeah.
talking to someone who had to get a vaginal ultrasound 10 days in a row at 6 a.m. when I froze my head.
Yes. Okay,
See,
I will
listen,
say,
once
Karen,
you have
though,
a baby and people are all up in there, nothing
Yeah.
phases you anymore.
No,
So,
it doesn't
it's all
phase me,
good
guys,
here.
but it phases the doctors more because I don't think they're
Yeah.
used to this. They're not used to this injury, and they're like, "Is this okay?" Like they, I mean, they're really sweet, but like they supervise each other because of my injuries, so I have to have two in the. Like normally, you do not have to have two doctors.
But two for you? Oh, Rachel,
because
this
they're-
probably feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
But they're
guys,
trying to really
I
make sure
am
they're
fine.
following protocol. Nothing fun.
No, they're very careful. Yeah.
Yes.
They're very
Oh, God.
professional. Everything is good. Anyway.
They're like, yeah, we've
Yes, I have
never
to
put
get
this here
shockwave.
before. We've never.
What's up?
Your
No,
patient.
literally.
They're like your patient one.
Are they
man.
residents? Are any of them cute?
They're like fellows.
They're
I
cute.
think.
Oh, you had a big smile on. You're like, yeah.
Oh, they're cute. I thought you asked if they're young. Well, they
Oh,
are
I
young.
said, are
She's
they
an
residents?
engaged woman, Megan. Back
Yeah.
Well,
off.
listen, I mean, sometimes doctors, I remember right when I was about to go under for my kidney surgery, there was a
Yeah.
really hot resident. And it was like one of the last things I remember right before
You're
I
like,
went to
shoot.
sleep. And I was like, hey, what's up?
Right. We did talk on the last episode, Rachel, about Megan meeting Justin Bieber, and it's like, yeah, he'll no matter your status, you're gonna see Justin Bieber, and your heart's gonna flutter. Just gonna skip a little beat. You know, it's just gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Totally.
Even if you're not a lonely girl, you know?
I was trying to think of a beaver pun. I'm like, yeah, like,
I'd be like, baby.
yeah. But so apparently shockwave can make things like worse before it gets better type of deal. So that could be contributing to like the additional pain I've been feeling. So that is possible. Yeah, fingers crossed that it's because of that.
Yeah.
I'm getting a follow-up MRI in about a month, so we'll be able to like see conclusively if there's like healing.
Oh, nice.
Which is great, but it's just like I gotta wait. Yeah, I feel like I'm in kind of like a funk about just like life in general. I think it's really hard because people go through like such worse things than this, and like I do have to have perspective, but it's hard when I feel like I can't do the thing that I love, and like I love watching USA's and I love watching track and supporting all my friends doing amazing things, and it's not like that's hard for me in any way, but it's like, oh, I wish I could be out there with you guys. Like, and I'm also not doing myself any favors. I'm like looking through my old Strava, like at pictures and being like really sad because I just like want to
Aw.
be out there.
Oh.
Yeah. And I
Looking
do
at old
most of my
workouts.
exercising like by myself now because I have like very
Yeah.
specific PT I have to do, and
Yeah.
like there's only one assault bike at my gym, and I would never ask anyone to get on the assault bike unless you're very injured and it's the only thing you can do. And then swimming is obviously like a solo endeavor. So I'm just feeling like kind of in a rut. Also, side note, because we have a lot of like very smart listeners, I've been sleeping like no joke 9 to 10 hours a night,
Nice.
which is
That's
good,
great.
but I'm like a little bit concerned. I'm like, is something wrong with me?
Mm.
Like I'm still not healed or something. And like I gotta tell you, I gotta go back on my watch and tell you guys, it's been crazy.
That's amazing though, Rachel. I think one of the best things you can do is sleep a ton for
Yeah,
recovery.
probably. I just don't want to be like, oh, there's something like being like sleeping a lot and having an injury that's not healing. Like, does that indicate something more serious? Hopefully not.
As long as you're not getting like bed sores where you're like, I've been in
No,
bed
not
like
yet.
a Willy Wonka
Willy Wonka
grandparent amount of
grandparents.
time.
No, we got 10 hours, 3 minutes, 9 hours,
That's
34
amazing.
minutes, 9 hours,
Whoa.
11 minutes, 8 hours, 51 minutes, 9 hours,
What?
36 minutes, 9 hours, 4 minutes. That's my past week.
Wait, that's amazing.
Do you think? I don't know. I'm like, is there something wrong with me that I can sleep this much?
I think sleeping is good. Sleeping is great. This is how you're going to recover. I do have one question, and maybe the listeners can help, and I'm not sure if you guys know. What is the data about like loading the bone to help stimulate recovery?
Mm. That's a good
You
question.
should do that.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, okay, I don't really know, but according to like all the doctors and my PT, is that
Okay.
you should load the bone, as in like, but not with running, like with
Gotcha.
squats and
Yes.
I mean, even like swimming and even doing the bike, like you're loading it a little bit, you're putting a little bit. The thing is like, I mean, it's my pubic bone, so literally
I know.
every time I take a step, I'm loading it.
That's true.
So it's not something where like I have to be super it's even possible to like unload completely. But yes, that's like the progression to running that I'm on, is like this weight routine and where I'm like doing progressive loading. But the idea is like you should do progressive loading without pain.
Got it.
But I just still have pain. So I don't know where that puts me. I'm seeing my PT again tomorrow. And like I feel like last time it's also like a struggle, and I would never do this because I'm not crazy, but part of me is like tempted to not say that I'm still in pain, because last time I said I was in pain, she pulled my exercises back, which just means I'm like that much farther away from running. And like I will not, don't worry people, I will not do that. I will tell her the truth. I've even been keeping a Google Doc of like when my pain happens and like how I'm feeling. So like to keep myself honest, because it's like by the time Friday comes around, I've forgotten Monday. It's like, who the heck knows how I was feeling. But yeah, I pretty much had pain like every day, all day this week, which just like really sucks. I really feel for like, I mean, there's a huge group of our population that has like chronic pain, and it's like gives me a ton of empathy for people that go through that, because it's just like, it's really hard to think about other things. It's been really hard. Like it's hard to like concentrate the way you want at work or like anything else really. Just being in pain and then not really being like, okay, well, I already did my exercises for the day. So like, what else can I do? I feel like as runners, as people, we're wired to be ultra productive and be like, I have a problem. There's got to be something. I got to be able to outwork this problem. Like that is always how I've approached my life a little bit. Like I know you guys are nodding because you feel the same way, but it's like, okay, I feel like this XYZ isn't going well. Let me throw hard work at it and it will get better. And I feel like that's just not been the case with this injury, because I've been doing like literally everything I think I could possibly be doing. And I've been following like all the protocols and everything. And it just like hasn't happened yet. And yeah, it's like once I do my exercises for the day, that's like kind of all I can throw at the problem, you know? So it just feels like, yeah, I'm feeling like, yeah, very kind of hopeless at this point. But it hasn't been that long. I'm at the point where next week my Strava graph will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. It'll be a straight line at 0, which
How
means
many
that I
weeks
haven't
has it
run.
been?
So it's been 11.
11. Okay.
Has it been 11 already? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 11. And so next week I'll hit 12. And yeah, I mean, I should be running by now, like for sure, based on like the prognosis. But
will you?
Yeah.
Is there like a testing
No.
day? But is there what does it need to say in order to get the green light? What do you need to feel?
What do I need to do? I need to be able to do like dynamic hops in my weight routine with no pain.
Okay, and you are not there yet.
No, I would say I'm at least like weeks away because I'm not even at this stage with no pain. So I don't know if she's going to pull me back another stage. I don't know what she's going to say to me tomorrow, but yeah. So like I don't know what happens. I guess cuz a few weeks ago I went in and I asked, "Well, how far am I away from being able to run?" And she said 6 weeks. And I'm like, well, that feels crazy because that would mean I would be taking 14 weeks off for a grade 2 stress reaction, which is like absurd, I think. But it looks like I'm going to be taking off well more than 14 weeks for a grade 2 stress reaction.
Well, let's one day at a time. We don't know. Maybe this shockwave is going to start shocking and you never know. Like I let's just one day at a time. You know, I think like sometimes, Karen,
Karen like
laughing at
died at Megan say the shockwave's gonna start shocking.
It could,
No,
you know, like
it's just the way you said it.
it could start.
So violent.
I am just gonna be one day at a time. Like
One day
I
at a time.
hope that I think sometimes when we start to think like, oh, that's a whole month away, or oh, that's a whole 4 weeks away, that can become really daunting. And I mean, the reality is like it could be, but also you could wake up next week and suddenly have no pain. I know that like seems very unrealistic, but you never know. So
Yeah.
one day at a time, and I feel like you're in really good care. So that's a positive.
Yes, I hope so. Okay, I just feel like it was the Rachel show for a little bit, but I want to hear from you guys. What's been going on in your worlds?
So I did a workout this week with people, which was a huge, I mean, it was amazing. It was a group of dudes, and the whole time we ran K repeats on undulating surface. And I have felt pretty crappy. I told my coach, I feel like ass. All of my workouts felt like ass for the last month or so. I was hitting my times, but none of them felt good. And I didn't walk away from a workout being like, oh, I did well there. Everything just felt meh. And then Tuesday, I ended up doing a treadmill workout and I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel like myself again. Friday, I met with a group of people and I had guys to do my workout with. And I like really felt the best I've felt in over a month, which was like nothing different happened. Like we didn't react to the training. It's just like all of a sudden I felt like my legs came under me again, which was such a good feeling. And I was like actually, going away to a fairy tale land in my head during the workout. And I kept visualizing that I was running the Boston Marathon with like a group of people in a race. Cause I felt like we were sort of fartlicking a little bit because none of our recoveries were like jogs. They were all floats. So it was like, we'd speed up for the rep and then we'd float back and we'd speed up for the rep. And I think what people have told me, I've never run a marathon this way, but when you make it to like the elite of the elite and you're in those lead groups, the marathon ends up running like a fartlek. So that's like sort of been like way down the road in my head where I'm like, well, if one day I get to a level where I can run with a pack and fartlek a marathon, I want to make sure I prepare for that. And I was just mentally in my head pretending like I was in the Boston Marathon, which was very fun. And it was just a great way to start the day with people because typically I only work out alone and the community just meant so much to me. But yeah, I would say I'm at a point right now. My husband's travel schedule for work has been insane this month. So I would say about 95% of my runs have been stroller runs, which has actually been so lovely because in this new area that we live in, I feel like I'm Mary Poppins on the run. Every day we run past the school and she points to the school and points out all the kids. And then we run through the tunnel and I scream as we run through the tunnel because it echoes. And then we run past the fire station and we stop and we look at the fire trucks. Every single day I see these firemen, good morning. And we go down and we see all the boats. And then there's a construction site with 2 excavators. And she points to them and goes, eh, eh. And then we run down all the way to the house with the gargoyles that have lions, and she growls at the lions.
Oh
then
my
we stop at she growls. Then we stop at the beach and we pick up a special rock and a special shell, and then we turn around and we do the whole thing again. And it's just it's the best. And every day I ask her, how many excavators did we see today? And she goes, 2. I'm like, that's right, we saw 2. And then all day she'll talk about how we saw a fire truck. Well, if I ask her, I'll be like, what did we see today on our run? She goes, tuck, tuck. And I'm like, that's right, we saw a fire truck. So these runs have been so much fun. I know although they're very difficult and my shoulders are killing me from pushing the stroller. I know there's going to be a day where she does not want to run with me. So I'm just relishing in all of it. And some of the days I'm like, I really don't want to push a stroller, but this is wonderful for both of us. Today, on the end of our run, I was very much spacing out as we were running through the tunnel where I always scream because it echoes. And I made it all the way through the tunnel and then I heard her and she goes, Mama, eh, eh. And I was like, oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I almost did a whole loop around the tunnel to redo it, but I was like, you know what? We'll get them tomorrow, okay? So that's what we've been up to over here.
Aw.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yes.
you're like Mrs. Frizzle in the Magic School Bus, like
I am.
taking her all around town.
Today I timed it because I wanted to go a little further. And I just get nervous because we typically do like an hour to maybe an hour and 5. And I was like, can we make it an hour 15 today? Let's see. So I looked at the train schedule and I was like, we can make it to the train station and that will be our turnaround point. And if we get there at exactly this time, she will see the choo-choo. And it was, I was like, we cannot stop for the bathroom. We cannot stop for anything. We have to make it to the choo-choo. And as we were pulling up, the choo-choo was like, blowing the horn. And her face just lit up and choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-choo. And that got us, it got us probably like 2.5 miles of being excited about the choo-choo. And then by that time we were by the lion. So it worked out. We have a great little routine here going on. I just hope that she never gets tired of fire trucks because then I'm going to be really screwed.
You've got all your tricks, you know what I mean? They're working for now. That's funny, Megan. So you talked about being sore, pushing in the stroller. This week, so for my Tales from the Trails, one thing I wanted to mention was my boyfriend came to the gym with me and he got me on the ski erg because he's like gonna crush I almost said CrossFit. What is it? High rocks. He's like really interested in high rocks because he can row, he can ski erg, and he was just doing all these things that, like, I go to the gym, right, and I have my basics. I've got my usual. I know where to go. I don't usually use the machines. That's just not my typical gym style. I'm usually using like the bench. I'm doing like some core and body weight stuff, and I'm doing free weights. But I'm not necessarily using any of the machines, like the leg like press or the the ones where you like open your legs open and closed, or like literally anything.
Why'd you bring up that one?
I don't even know the names of them. But Sam started using these machines and I just go, God damn it. It's rare that I'm with someone that really knows how to use these machines. Sorry, Rachel. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, not me.
And so I just go, you know what? I'm curious. How do you use the skier thing? And so he got me on it and I was doing it. I was rocked the next day, guys. My abs were so sore. My triceps, everywhere I want to be sore was sore. Like my abs were like, I get in the routine of doing the same abs over and over. And so this was really nice to probably like work a whole different like ab muscle that I probably never even work. My triceps, I always love, I'm pro tricep, as we've talked about on this podcast, because I think strong triceps give you the illusion of being strong, even if you aren't strong. And so that's why I'm very superficial. And I think those are the best ones to work out. But I feel like the lifts I do don't really challenge like my triceps. And I don't really ever feel like I'm really working them. This ski erg got me right in the abs, right in the triceps. I hope to God I was doing it right. He did. My boyfriend was like, no, it looks, he's like, you could use some improvement, but it looked okay. I just like picture, you know, like those videos that go viral of like, oh my God, I'm at the gym. Look at this crazy man doing like a handstand on the pull-up bar. That was, I was probably someone's video, just like Santa's sleigh, just like going to town. Doing like the full body worm standing up. Like I was probably doing something crazy. I do want to improve my form. I want to look up though. This was on my list to do this week and I didn't. If I can utilize the ski erg like specifically for running, meaning like, do I have to like hinge a little bit more the hips, be more arms? Should I go full body? I'm curious about the ski erg, how I can incorporate it into like a running beneficial routine. Cause like, you know, vanity is great, but I would love for this to be, you know, used for running. So anyway, TBD on that. I'm ski erg curious. I'm on my journey.
I think you just came up with another Instagram video idea too.
Yeah.
That person at the gym.
The runner at the gym.
Yeah.
That, like, it's like the mental patient that gets loose on the town and is just doing crazy stuff. Like that's the runner. It's the type A runner that's like loose in the gym and should not have access.
They brought marbles and they're doing toe yoga at the gym. Like dogs out. Yeah.
Dogs are like full out, like full toe. They're like, what are you doing? Which anyway, so that was my lifting journey this week. The other thing I wanted to talk about really quick was I did my first true workout back on the track. So I've done some, I talked about some tempo, some light fartlek, but this was my first workout back to the scene of the crime where I sprained my foot. I was a little scared to get back on my toes. I will say I'm trying to keep it pretty basic. I'm trying not to get up too high. For reference, like I was doing 200s at like 32s when I sprained my foot. This time around, I did a longer workout and I was doing them more at like 40 to 43. So I was definitely not as like up on my toes. So I felt safe. But I wanted to say the workout that was prescribed for the group, because I did it with a few girls from the team, which was amazing. It was just like first workout back to like have 3 girls out there too doing the same workout. It's just I'm such a you know, a group girl, and I never take it for granted. It was so amazing. It was 3 sets of 8 times 200 with like increasing rest, like 20 seconds rest. So a quick turnaround and then 30 seconds and then 40 seconds and then like 2 minutes in between the sets. That was the workout that everyone was prescribed who has been working out. I had to modify a little bit and I was debating between doing 2 sets of the 8 times 200 or 3 times 6 of the 200. So meaning just doing less reps or less sets. That's what I was debating between. I ultimately opted for the less sets as opposed to reps, which I think was the good call. But there's a mental like strength that goes into holding yourself back. And I say this because I did the workout and I got to the last rep on my second set and I said, I feel so good. I want to do the third set. And I almost did. And then I had to say to myself, yeah, but I shouldn't, because this is my first workout back and I need to hold back. And I feel good right now, but I want to feel good 4 months from now. And like, that's the most important thing. And it's that delayed gratification. And sure enough, I woke up the next day and I was pretty sore. Like I was normally going to lift that day and I took off lifting, and it's like that you don't really know until the next day when the dust settles actually what the workout did to you. And I just think it's so important to like say that, because even someone like me, who I would say is pretty experienced in doing workouts and training for marathons, even I have to be like, hey, cool your jets. Like, you know, you want to, it's like you want to have that next piece of cake. You're greedy. You want to like get your next fix. But sometimes it's the best thing you can do is hold yourself back. And I'm curious if that's something that you guys Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious if that's something you guys have struggled with. I know we've talked about this in the past, but like, what's your vice? Like, what do you tell yourself when you have to hold yourself back? What is helping you actually see the forest for the trees?
I feel like I have this debate with myself all the time, and I'm like, but I feel so good. And then the other voice in my head says, yeah, you should. Like you should feel good. Like let's walk away from today
Mm,
feeling good and leave it at that. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I just am someone who I'd always err on the side of caution. I mean, I came on the show last week. My Tales from the Trail was how I hadn't been feeling like myself, and I hadn't had a good workout in a long time, and I was really tired from work, and I just cut my long run. And then this week, my Tales from the Trail is how I felt good again. So I think like when you do it enough, like and you do get confidence. Like when you get that delayed gratification, then you start to trust yourself more, and I think the
Mm-hmm.
decisions actually become easier. And then also like to hold myself back. And I was texting you about this a little earlier, Karen. I run my easy runs slow, and therefore I go by time on feet opposed to miles because I'm going for an hour and 5 minute run today. Whatever my watch is at an hour and 5 minutes, I'm stopping. And if I'm gonna run slow, I'm not gonna hit my like weekly goal mileage, but like, does that matter to me? Like, okay, if I'm within 7, 10 miles, like, if I was running a slow, easy pace, like I'm fine with that. And I just let that go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I will remind myself of this injury when I'm back
Yeah.
to running, and like I pray to someday be at a point again where I can like hold myself, feel good and hold myself back.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't doing that enough this spring, and I was like, oh, I feel I can do this. I can work out with these girls who have run a lot faster than me. And, my coach is telling me to. And I think that's something I need to be much better about the next time around. Like when I'm come back is like, I felt like, I feel like part of probably the reason I got injured is because I was doing not even like the workouts were crazy or anything I had not done before, but just like the paces and like the changing to my training. I just think I wish I would have done this more. And so, yeah, I 100% agree with your decision, Karen. I think when you're coming back, it's like, okay, what's an extra couple 200s gonna do? Like, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get in better shape for next week, whether you do 2 sets or 3 sets. So it's like, just do the 2 sets. I think. But I think it's really hard. I think it's really hard when you work out with other people that you want to be like,
Yeah.
that you want to run as fast as they run, or you want to do the things that they're able to do. And so it's really, I don't really think it's something that comes naturally to me. But I'm going to remind myself of this injury when I come back and am in this position again to make those decisions, because it's really not worth getting injured. Pushing yourself for that extra set.
I have one more thing, and then I want to hear about Rachel's receipts. But I think having like a strong understanding of what the purpose of every workout is can help those decisions as well. Like the Ks that I did on Friday, they were prescribed at threshold pace. So like all of the Ks really should be within me. Like every K that I'm doing, I should feel like I could go faster, because threshold pace is a pace that you should be able to hold for about 10 miles. Now, the key with this workout was we were floating recoveries. So instead of like a jog or a walk, we were keeping that recovery moving, at a decent clip. And so like walking away from a workout like that, it's like, oh, I feel really good and I just want to go crazy fast. And it's like, yeah, that's how you're supposed to feel this workout. So like you did it, good job, pat yourself on the back, and like now let's move on to the next thing. Whereas I think like especially us type A runners, like we tend to like get greedy, and if it's like a threshold workout, like we want to throw something in at rep, or we want to throw something in at interval, and it's like if that's not the purpose of the workout, we're tapping into something that's only going to put us at risk. I'm not going to say like it's going to injure you, but like you're just opening the window to certain things. And I think that's another thing. Like a lot of people, if you're training at threshold and you've convinced yourself that this is what threshold feels like, but it's too fast. Yes, you can do it, but is there a cost there? So I think like when you have a real firm understanding on like, what am I trying to gain out of today? Is it threshold? Is it rep? Is it interval? Is it marathon pace? Is it half marathon pace? Like what is the goal from today? That can make those decisions a little bit easier.
I love it.
Love that. Should we get into some receipts, guys?
Yes.
Let's
Okay,
get into
so I
it.
teased this. But this week we're going to talk about a really interesting paper that is called Sex Differences in Marathon Pacing. Analysis of 873,000 Berlin marathon runners reveals men are twice as likely to, quote, hit the wall. So this came out, which I'm like, this is a article that was written for the Getting Chick podcast.
I was going to say written by Rachel D'Adamio, like
Karen Lesowitz and Megan Connolly. So okay, the authors though are not us. They are a group from the Nova O2 Sports Science in Brazil, the Institute of Primary Care in Switzerland, and the Federal University of Sao Paulo. So it's an international team. And they analyzed Berlin finishers from like 1999 through 2005. And they defined hitting the wall as you run the second half of a marathon at least 20% slower than your first half. And so I calculated this because that didn't really mean anything to me. So I calculated this for a few like different paces. So for a 6-minute mile, that means you slow down to 7:20 pace for like an average, right? And rarely does it look like that. I think that's kind of a interesting part of this paper, is that it gets defined as like, okay, first half versus second half. But rarely do you hit the wall at 13.1 and then like I feel like it kind of looks different. Obviously that's just the data they have access to, because a lot of times you just have the half marathon split and then the finish. For 7-minute miles, that's slowing down to 8:24. For 8-minute miles, that's slowing down to 9:36, just to give people an idea of like what a 20% slowdown is. And so the kind of big headline is that across these 25 years, 17.63% of men hit the wall compared to only 9.66% of women.
That's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Wow.
And I will say, I mean, not that this doesn't matter in terms of percentages, but I was actually shocked. The sample size of this, or the sample distribution in this study, is 75% men and 25% women. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I bet it's a historical. I would imagine that like in more recent years, there's a lot. It's probably more 50-50, but maybe in like 2000 there weren't as many women running. But I thought that was super interesting. So there's a lot more men running Berlin over the past 25 years. And they are more likely to hit the wall. So one thing that they did, which I think was very interesting and like a question that I had, was that they also looked at different performance categories. So like, are elite men and women, does this basically comparison hold when we break into like different groups? And they found that it did. So for runners that finish faster than 3 hours, men were actually 6 times more likely to hit the wall, 1.42%. So it's a lot lower, versus 0.23% of women. Also, I think I'm in this group of 0.23% of women who hit the wall running a sub 3.
Something that's
I don't
interesting
think I did, but
about Berlin is that it's a flat course, right?
yes, and that's
what I like
talk
about
that's why they chose it, because doing this on a Boston or a New York doesn't work as well. You can definitely still do it, and I think a 20% slowdown is significant enough that like you would call that hitting the wall in Boston or hitting the wall. I don't even think I slowed down. I didn't hit the wall in Boston last year by their standards, right?
Yeah.
But what I like about choosing Berlin is it's a flat course. So like the difficulty of the course is not that much different it's not at all basically different between the first half and the second half. One kind of, I'm curious what you guys think about this, because I think we don't talk about this a lot on the podcast, but we did when we talked about the Boston Marathon, of like, what's the equivalent of sub 3 for men? Because what the authors did is they kind of assigned like the competitive category as anyone finishing under sub 3. But in their study, that's 6% of men versus less than 1% of women. So they're comparing like the top 1% of women to the top 6% of men when they say that men are 6 times more likely to hit the wall. So that was like one thing where I was like, okay, I feel like maybe I would have looked at this differently and like comparing, okay, a sub 3 hour woman to a sub 2:35 men. What's the rate there? And then literally I thought this in my head, and then I read on, and they actually ended up doing this, and they found similar results when they did classified into quintiles. So they took the top 20% of women and men, the top 20 to 40, etc., into 5 groups. I think that's probably like, I mean, we talk about like the sub elite. So I would have liked to see the top 1% of women versus the top 1% of men. Potentially that's something I could do for a future receipts, because this is all open source data and I could report back. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know if I can do it next week, but in a couple weeks, and report back.
This data was taken from, what was the years again that you said?
1999 to 2025.
To 2025. Okay. Curious. And it was all like lumped together, right? Like they didn't segment out like a trend or anything over the course of.
They did, actually. They do look year by year. I think, I can't remember exactly what they found year by year, but that it like held. It wasn't like, oh, it all of a sudden started becoming, women started hitting the wall a lot less after this year, or like men hit the wall a lot more after this year. I don't think they didn't see that happening. But yes, they lumped them all together.
Yeah, I like my very unscientific opinion, like right off the bat, always goes back to like a conference meet in college where you typically see men race more like with ego out there. You could see, like we just saw this in the USA's, right? Where like the men's 10K went out in like a 2:46 half marathon. Oh my God, a 2:46 800. Like they just went out so they went out in like 5:30 pace. It was
the women went out in 6:40 pace.
Okay.
So I don't know if that comparison holds, but we could talk about the USA 5Ks. Those were different races.
I think we should, but my point being, and that, okay, I will say USA's directly contradicts my point, but I do think on average, sometimes we see men take more risks and be a little bit more edgy. And I think in the marathon, it's such an honest and unforgiving distance that if you have more of that testosterone maybe flow in and more of that, like, yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm thinking directly of my brother, Brian. All right, Brian, I'm thinking of you. It's just likely things are going to go wrong. I think if you have that like risk-taking kind of edgy energy, and I just think typically we can see that more sometimes with the way like men tend to race. Not all the time. Sometimes it's women taking more risks, but I wonder if that plays, and that's something I guess you can't really calibrate or measure, but it's interesting.
I wonder if women are able to like, because women traditionally hold on to more fat than men do. Correct. I think just biologically.
Yes.
Whoa there, Megan. Did you just call me fat? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but I think that's like, I think that's science, right? Women have a higher percent of body fat than men. And so I think that this is just a guess. I don't know if it's true, but perhaps that bodes well for these longer distances like the marathon, because I don't even know where I'm going with this. Just the rate at which you burn energy, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where
this
I'm
is
going.
About glycogen storages. I'm gonna cut this out if I look this up and it's totally wrong. But
well, I can spew a lot of some physiological differences that I took from the paper. But
Please.
you're onto something, Megan, where they hypothesize, it's been proven outright that men and women have physiological differences, and the men have advantages such as, okay, let's see, higher proportion of fast twitch fibers, greater cardiac dimension, blood volume, hemoglobin mass, and enhanced glycolytic capacity, resulting in superior performance in tasks requiring high force, power output, and aerobic capacity. So like the rough speed of men is bigger, or is better, faster. I don't know what I'm saying. However, they go on to say that like women exhibit higher rates of lipid oxidation and lower respiratory exchange rates during sub-maximal endurance exercise. I think what that means is we're basically more efficient in like the threshold area. Like we're better at, and we have greater relative proportion of type 1 muscle fibers compared to men. And so these differences can basically allow us to have greater glycogen sparing, effectively delaying the onset of glycogen depletion, aka the wall, which is glycogen depletion. And so they go, like, their conclusion to the physiological part of the paper is that men possess physiological advantages that dictate upper limits of speed. Women appear to possess superior regulatory mechanisms for energy management. So that's a lot of like smart words, but I think, Megan, what you said is true. Like, we do like have physiological differences that make us better at like holding this like maybe 70% effort for a long amount of time, whereas we'll never have the 100% effort that men have. But potentially that can like make us better. I, of course, am more interested in the behavioral differences part of it because I just think this is fascinating. And they didn't get into this as much. Again, because they're doing like they're working with open source data, so they don't have your lactate they don't have these athletes like lactate. They didn't take a survey on, oh, I intended to go out at X pace and my training was Y and this kind of thing. So this is a lot of speculation. But they do say behavioral economics literature suggests that men are more often like overestimate their ability and tolerate higher risk in competitive events. Like, we've all heard the study, right, where a man will apply for a job that he's not qualified for more often than a woman will apply for a job that she's similarly unqualified for. Like, what if that job's running a 3-hour marathon? You know what I mean? And like,
It's true.
the
Yeah.
man is going to apply.
The man goes for it. The woman doesn't.
But which is, it's just
you go ahead.
interesting.
I think this, to me, is the question. Could women benefit more from taking risks then, given that our bonk rate isn't as high? Like, are we missing chances to move the needle a little bit more?
Well, I think it's a chicken and egg. Is our bonk rate lower because we don't take the risk, or is our bonk rate lower because, and that actually implies that we should take more of a risk?
Yeah.
I think it's impossible to like answer that question, I think, without like, what I would want to see is like how many PRs came out of men versus women. Like, basically, are men swinging at a PR more often or a really good time more often, and then like 10% of them get it, and women swing at it not as much, so maybe only 1% of women PR in a marathon? Like, that's what I would want to know, is like, basically you want to know if it's going to be quote unquote worth it. Like, is there a chance of me not bonking? I don't know, to answer if women are like leaving something on the table. I don't know.
I like this study, and I want you to dive deeper into it in the lab. But I like it. I'm interested. This is perfect for getting chicked, because if women are bonking less, it means they're chicking more.
I am curious to know, across the board, different marathons, is it climate, just different geographical locations? I'm curious to know. And I mean, I think the 7 majors, the 6 majors are, an obvious like one to do, but like that's Berlin. What about a hilly course? There's so many variables that this is super fun. The nature versus nurture. It's all fun stuff.
All right, let's dive
it's
into
really
some
great.
product recs before we hit our listeners with questions. Remember, Getting Chick podcast is sponsored by Zappos.com. Head on over to Zappos or check out the Zappos app for all of your running shoe needs. And I told you all last week that I was going to be your discount girly, and I'm back again this week with another shoe that's on sale. The Saucony Triumph 23 is 30% off. This is a shoe that is originally $170 right now. If you go to Zappos.com, you can get this Saucony Triumph 23 for $119. Stock up because fall marathon season is right around the corner. The only place to go is Zappos.com.
Love it. Karen, do you want to go?
Yes, I would love to go. I feel like I rarely mention a discounted item, so I'm going to also go ahead and throw my hat in the ring here with a discounted Zappos product. This is a cop-out, and I'm going to say this. I haven't actually tried this shoe, but I have it ordered, and it's on the way. It's the Hoka Celio X1 2.0. It's a race shoe. It's currently 45% off. Holy crap, 275 down to 151.25. I could have shared this earlier on. I didn't. We have some cool news in the Nameless Track Club community. We have a new sponsor, and surprise, it's Hoka, which is amazing. We're so excited. It's a new sponsor. I've never raced in Hoka shoes. I sure have run in them for easy runs. The Clifton, as we know, is my girl. So I've been exploring some of their shoe options, and I have this shoe on the way coming to me. I'm so excited. I've heard amazing things about this shoe. So I hopefully will be racing in it this fall/winter come CIM in December. So I think this is a amazing shoe that I've heard amazing things about. So try it out. Hopefully I love it. Hopefully you love it. It looks like it's got some fun colors. We've got black gold. We've got skyward blue, Celio blue. So check it out.
Love it. Okay, my rec is very on brand for my sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night. I am recommending the Frida, let's see, Whip Stitch cami and shorts set. I recently was a bridesmaid in a wedding, and our gift was a pajama set, which I thought was like the cutest thing. And I just feel like a pajama set is one of the best things you can treat yourself to.
It is.
And like you feel like such an adult being in a pajama set. And they're just so cozy. So, and I thought this set was so cute. So head on over to Zappos.com and check out the Whip Stitch cami and shorts set. And they have lots of other cute options as well.
All right, you guys, it is time to answer your questions. Please email us at gettingchickedpodcast@gmail.com or DM us on social media at gettingchicked. And I have to say, I think this might be my favorite email that we've ever gotten in the Chick Chat. It's a little bit long, but bear with us because it's a really good one. Here goes. I found a new women's only run club. Following along on their socials, they seem so welcoming, friendly, and inclusive. I reached out to the leader of this club and asked for information about their meetings and their pace group. She was so kind and friendly and got back to me within minutes. In her reply, she told me the pace groups range from run walk down to 9:30 pace. She also explained how their track workouts go. She asked me what my normal run pace was and said that the club's goal is for no one to ever run alone, and she could give me more specifics based on my comfortable pace. My comfortable easy run pace is around 8:30 to 8:50, and I'm well versed in track workouts. When I answered, I said that my normal run pace is around an 8:50, and that's okay if maybe I'm not the right fit to join the group. I'd love to join for a track workout where everyone is all together in one place. I was very purposeful and not sounding like I would think I'm too fast for the group. I just said if a group run wouldn't work, I would still like to join for a track workout. I saw that she read the message right away. but she never responded. I've been ghosted by the kindest, most inclusive run club I've come across. They're always promoting bringing new people and togetherness, but the silence gives me the feeling it's not for me. Am I reading into this wrong? Or am I not welcome at their track sessions? I'm so sorry this is so long. I'd really love to pick your brains on this one. Also, I hope you have a lot of listeners, but I really hope this girl isn't one of them.
This is such a great email. Okay, Karen, do you want to go first? I have so many thoughts.
I have one thought off the bat, and I know this is, I think it says in here, obviously it's a girls only, so it is a girl that wrote this, but if I didn't know this was a girl that wrote it, the way you said, I wanted to make sure I didn't sound like I was too fast for them. Bitch, you are too fast for them. You are. Like, meaning you don't got to slow yourself down. I think the honest thing is to say what you are, and saying you run faster than how they run, I just don't think should be seen as arrogant. I don't think it should be seen as like cocky. This fact, it's a fact of what you do. We need to get t-shirts that say I've been ghosted by the kindest, most inclusive run club on the front. I think that'd be amazing. But no, in all seriousness, you know me, and I've said this before, I'm a double texter. I'm a triple texter. Like, I also, and I'm gonna say this, I think it's wrong that she ghosted you. As someone who does help run a track account, I am guilty of like not replying to people on time or seeing something. I have made mistakes before. So what I would say is you can give her the benefit of the doubt and just say she read it and she thought, oh my God, she's so fast. Like, I got to think, maybe we do have somebody, I'll see. And then she just forgot and never got back to you. I would double message. I would just say, hey girl, just wanted to follow up. I am really interested in having like a community to meet with. It's important to me. I'm okay running on my own at the track workouts if needed, if you are okay, and just follow up and hopefully get more information. I'm not shy to double text. So that's what I would do. And who knows, I think you going to this run club is the best thing they could ever need, because then it's going to open up a whole new pace group for people or push people. Maybe people are running 930s because they don't have anyone else to run with and they want to run like closer to a 9 or like an 850. So that's my 2 cents. How about you, Rachel?
I would say definitely don't feel anxious about the way that you like came across. I think you came across totally fine. One of the things that I find like most like awesome about someone when you're like kind of getting to know a new runner friend or getting to know a new group is when people are actually just super honest about their abilities and their wants and their needs.
I'm snapping. So I'm coffee house.
Yeah, I feel very strongly
snapping
about this. Because I think like my happy pace, my happy comfortable pace for like an easy run is somewhere between like 7:30 and 8:30, where like I can run, if your easy pace is between 7:30 and 8:30, I can run an easy run with you and we will both be happy and life will be great. If it's more like 7 minutes, we're just not a good fit. And that's like nothing against you and it's nothing against me. I just will have a bad time. And like, or vice versa. Like if your happy pace is 9:30 pace, then you might have a bad time. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just really appreciate when people are honest about what they want, and it's not like you went in there saying like I'm more worthy of like love and affection in my life because I run an 850 and you run
and then you spit on them. You did a virtual spit on her in the DM.
Yeah. So I also think like this group seems great. So like I'm kind of with Karen. Like if this is something you're excited about, I would double text or double message. I think you did nothing wrong. And I think it's awesome that you're trying to find something that's like gonna work for you and push you in the right way. And yeah, I think people should feel like really empowered, to be honest. I would never be offended. I would be so happy if someone said, look, I like to run my pace at this pace, and therefore like I think you're too slow to run an easy run. And I'd be like, thank you for sparing me the like uncomfortableness of trying to make you talk so that you slow down. Like, I would so much rather like people be honest. And I personally would never be offended by someone who just runs their comfortable pace faster. Like, that's totally fine. I actually have plenty of friends who we run similar race paces, and they run faster or slower than me on easy runs, and therefore we don't run together on easy runs, and I still like love them as people, and it's great. Anyway, okay, Megan, what are your thoughts?
I think the only way this could go bad is if you just like showed up and everybody's running 9:30 pace and you just one-stepped everybody and tried to make the run into 8:30 pace. Like, that's how this would be bad. I think like maybe, listen, there's a couple options here. Maybe she does, like, you're not the type of runner they're looking for in this group, so maybe that's why she didn't answer. That could be it, which like isn't easy to accept considering they're so welcoming and kind. I do like Karen's take on it, where like maybe if you join the group can actually expand because they have more people to lead more paces. So like this group could become larger and an even bigger community and even better and more inclusive than it already was. So I think that's an option, right? I think just nobody likes to, on an easy run, people don't want to run too slow and people don't want to run too fast. Like, I've been stuck in an easy run that's too slow, and while I love the people, it's like, ooh, that actually kind of hurt my body to go that slow. And I've been in the other situation where I'm on an easy run where someone's one-stepping the whole time. And I'm like, I didn't recover out of this run. So I think finding those people that you can run with is really important. And the track workouts, I like how you were comfortable and saying you could do whatever feels best for you. But one, I think you approached it the right way. Don't feel self-conscious about your response because your response was excellent. If you're dead set on this group, I would send another message. But I also would stick some feelers out to other groups because maybe she's trying to send a hint like, hey, we're not about that faster life here. We support you and we're cheering you on, but like this is what we do over here.
Look, we get
sense?
checked, okay?
Well, I mean, there are
do.
some run clubs. Like, I know in Chicago, I've never experienced this, but there are some run clubs you have to like try out for.
Whoa.
Not like try out for, but you have to hit like a certain standard.
Yeah,
like,
I get
on
if
the
there's like
club.
limited gear support. You know, you gotta filter out the non-committal people, but it is a little wild that maybe she didn't get back to you in time. I'm hoping it's just an accidente, but yeah, I will say I did a funny video today about pace pushing, which I think kind of plays into this. And the last thing I'll say is like just to echo truly what Rachel said is like, there's something so deceiving and so deceptive about like someone who just isn't honest. And it could be in a workout and it could be in a run. And I know it doesn't have to be as like cruel as that, but like there's a beauty in just honesty that is so appreciated. And it's just calling a spade a spade. And it's like, hey, I run this time. And if someone doesn't get back to you or someone doesn't want to run with you, I count that as like a step in the right direction. Okay, great. I closed the door where it wasn't going to serve me and it wasn't going to work for me. And now I can move on and find something that does on either end. So we hope you do. Please keep us updated. This was such a fun question. I actually would love to this listener if you could like follow up with us. Let us know if you find a different run club, if you ever get replied back to by the ghost of Run Club past year. But we hope you find your right fit. And thank you so much for this amazing question. Before we wrap it up here, I do want to read a review that someone left us. Josie Roggs, I think is how you say it. Riggs?
It's Josie Riggs.
Josie Riggs, I'm so sorry. It does say Roggs. Am I saying it wrong? Maybe it's just her.
This is her.
Maybe it's her review
Spotify
name,
or
her
Apple
Spotify
podcast.
name. Anyway, Josie, she said, perfect if you're a runner and want some laughs and relatability. Started listening to this after I met Megan at the Eugene Marathon and she smoked me. Love the realness and rawness of the lives of these cute girls. Josie, take me to dinner first. It's getting together with your runner friends on a run to chat. Thank you so much for this amazing review. That is exactly what we want you guys all to feel. Hopefully, we're catching you near the end of your almost 90-minute run here. No. Hopefully you can listen to us out when you're running solo, whether you're just putzing around your house, whatever it is, driving. We want to make you guys feel like you're just chatting with your girlfriends and having some company along the ride. So thank you guys for tuning in. I also want to say our YouTube page, guys, 110 subscribers. We are up. We are thriving.
Yay.
Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them rolling in. We will continue to post these onto YouTube if you want to see our cute faces while we chick the chat here. And we'll catch you then on another episode of Getting Chicked.